Crusade of 1101. Part 2. A second large army of Crusaders led by William II of Nevers didn't feel like walking all that way. So they sailed over from Italy and marched across Byzantine territory with no instances of pillaging, raping, or murder of any kind, which was a real rarity for a crusading army.
I commend you all for being such nice, well-behaved knights. Good job, gents.
Not everyone gonna think we are a bunch of sissies.
Raping and pillaging is so boring anyway. Totally overrated.
Since the army of Nevers was never on time, they found all the other Crusaders had already left when they finally reached Constantinople in June of 1101. So William II told his guys to stop digging around and hurry their asses over to Asia Minor to try and catch up with the other Crusaders.
Honestly, William, you have the clock management skills of Andy Reid.
Well, I do know it is time for you to go fuck yourself, huh?
William II and his army wandered around in the desert for a few days looking for the Lombards, unaware that they had already been wiped out by the Turks. But as his knights got more hot, tired, and cranky, they were like, "We didn't sign up for this bullshit," and forced William II to abandon his pursuit of the others and just march south to Jerusalem.
I am sick of riding around in these circles. Come on! Fuck this shit. Let's go kill people!
No, come on. They gotta be around here somewhere.
I bet all the other Crusaders are already out raping and looting. Come on, let's go!
The Crusaders from Nevers reached Herculea by August and took over an abandoned fortress, looking for a respite from their arduous march. But the Turks had stripped it bare and poisoned all nearby water sources, leaving William II with no choice but to gather his tired troops and press on marching through the unforgivably hot, dry desert.
The toilet is clogged, and there's a several dead in the bathtub.
This place sucks. Let's go to the Holiday Inn. They got a pool.
It's not such a bad place. It's got good bones and just needs some TLC.
The hot desert sun beat down on the marching Crusaders and slowed them to a crawl as Kili Arslan's troops were gathering on both sides to box them into a trap and began to harass the weary, thirsty, and sunburned Crusaders by firing endless waves of arrows down upon them.
Why are you shooting the rubber chickens, Hassan?
Have you four seen the prices of arrows lately? I no can afford them.
After realizing they were walking right into Kili Arslan's trap, William II and some of his smarter knights ditched the main army and ran away to find safety back in Constantinople, and left all the common foot soldiers, unarmed peasants, hookers, and pets behind to be killed or enslaved by the Saracens.
Has anyone seen William tour around? Where he go?
He wouldn't just leave us without saying goodbye, would he?
A great leader like William II would never abandon his troops.
Yeah, he probably went to get us some coffee and donuts.
William II and his chicken shit knights of Nevers then hired some local guides to lead them safely back to Constantinople. But the guides sold them out to robbers along the way, who beat the shit out of them, stripped them bare, mocked their paleness, and left them out in the middle of nowhere, very alone, very naked, and very afraid.
No!
Although the majority of the army of Nevers never had a chance for survival, William II and a handful of his cowardly knights somehow eluded the Turks, made it through the dry, hot desert, crossed over treacherous mountains, and made it safely back to Constantinople.
Yes.
We made it! You see where I come from? We never say never. Because I come from never and... never mind.
Meanwhile, over in Constantinople, Count Raymond, Stefan of Blois, and the other pussies that escaped from the slaughter at Mercevan was taunted relentlessly by the waves of new Crusaders arriving there. The newcomers even accused Ray of colluding with Emperor Alexios to throw the battle so that their rival, Bohemond, stayed captured by the Turks.
You cowards! If you were monkeys, you would be called chimpanzees.
And if you were sea creatures, you'd be octopuses.
The last large Crusader army to set out was a smelly mass of French and Bavarian jackasses, led by jerks like Duke William IX of Aquitaine, aka Aquaman, Duke Welf of Bavaria, Queen Ida of Austria, and the self-proclaimed Great One, Hugh of Vermandois, who chickened out the first time and had to return to save his reputation.
Come on, boys. Before we start crusading, we is going on to a beer run.
Never see a catfish? How about a fish ball? How do you say gangbang in la
Sacré bleu. And also the First Crusade was shit.
In spite of the fact that everyone knew he was a bitch that bailed on his fellow Crusaders, Hugh of Vermandois was somehow even more cocky and arrogant than ever. And he and his crusading cronies sacked the shit out of everything on the way to Constantinople, and even fought with the Pechenegs hired to guide them safely through Byzantium.
Grab me one of those for my wife.
Sorry, but the gift shop is closed now.
But the lunch is over there! Give me that!
By the time the last group of Latins reached Constantinople in June 1101, Emperor Alexios was in no mood to put up with their violent shenanigans. So he gave them the bum's rush and put them on ships to get them out of his city ASAP. Some people say Alexios was so fed up with the Latins that he may have even told the Turks that they were coming.
What is Duke Aquaman doing in the water?
He think he can communicate with the fish.
So do he eat sushi, or is that cannibalism?
Hugh of Vermandois and the others led a few thousand Crusaders directly south, and they marched as quickly as possible, hoping to avoid any conflicts with the Saracens before they could reach Jerusalem to fulfill their vow, pray a little bit, pick up some nice souvenirs, then get the hell out of this crazy shithole place and go back home.
Pull over the wagons! I have to make the pee-pee!
Again? But that queen ladder is a royal pain in the ass.
By September, in the year of our Lord 1101, the Crusaders made their way across the scorching hot desert to Herculea, hoping to find food, water, and supplies to steal. But they didn't realize that Kili Arslan's troops were still hanging out there after their slaughter of the Crusaders from Nevers.
More friends are informed to be coming. The jihad will begin tonight.
Can we do this tomorrow? Tonight is my bowling night.
The Turks then attacked the Crusaders by surprise and nearly destroyed the entire French Bavarian contingent, although William IX and Welf managed to escape somehow. Hugh of Vermandois was mortally wounded in the fight, and Queen Ida disappeared and was never heard from again. Me and Welf are gonna split, so, bye.
Oh, you are the flat liver, Bill! The flat liver!
At least the Aquitaine Knights stayed to fight this time, but sadly, they all died for their bravery. William IX and Welf spent a month sneaking through Muslim lands and finally made it to Constantinople by October, and met up with the other pussies that chickened out and fled there.
What do the Holy Ghost and the bottle of whiskey have in common?
Oh, they both spirits that Muslims won't let in the house. What a disaster this was for the Crusaders. In the span of 2 months, 3 entire Crusader armies were obliterated. Emperor Alexios was embarrassed by the Crusaders' losing effort and didn't want to be seen with them, and was so disgusted by the Latin leaders' cowardice that he put them all on a boat and sent them over to Antioch.
Wait, you are kicking us out and charging us for the boat ride too? I'm the emperor. I can't be hanging out with losers.
Count Raymond, Stefan of Blois, Constable Conrad, Wilf, and the two Williams decided that when they reached Antioch, they could fulfill their vow by leading the few Crusaders that were left on a regular, old-fashioned Christian pilgrimage to Jerusalem, since they were all tired and cranky and didn't much feel like fighting the stupid Saracens anymore.
Hey, where's the Pope tent? I gotta take me a dump.
It's that big green one right over there.
The Pope tent is that way. The big green tent is mine. Have you guys been shitting in my tent?
When the cowardly Crusaders arrived at Antioch, a knight arrested Count Raymond for deserting his troops in Mercevan and turned him over to Tancred, who was in charge since his Uncle Beau was in captivity. And he locked Ray up in the dungeon for a bit to bust his saggy balls and teach him a lesson.
I better you feel less cocky now, huh, Raymond?
I can never be less cocky. I am France.
The other Crusader leaders were safely escorted down to Jerusalem by Templar knights sent by King Baldwin I, and they prayed, did some sightseeing, bought a few souvenirs, then hurried as fast as they could down to the docks to get on the next boat home and get the fuck out of there.
We have been on Sedan for an hour and have hardly moved.
Yeah, Wilf went to complain. He is such a coward.
Excuse me, miss, excuse me. Is you the manager?
As the Crusaders set sail for home, Stefan of Blois' ship was blown off course during a heavy storm and crash-landed near Ramla, which just happened to be where King Baldwin I was amassing his troops to battle the Egyptians. So Stefan, who just wanted his wife to respect him and allow him back inside their home, reluctantly joined them.
Well, look what the cat dragon. Oh, how I long to be back home in my doghouse.
Due to bad reconnaissance, Baldwin I led his small army of about 2,000 Crusaders right into the middle of 20,000 Egyptian soldiers. But luckily for him, he, Stefan of Blois, Constable Conrad, and a few others broke free during the lopsided battle and fled to an old decrepit tower and crowded inside to hide out from the infidels.
You said 20,000 troops? I thought you said 2,000. Oops, my bad. Gotta go.
The Egyptians, however, saw them fleeing to the tower, so they stacked up big piles of wood all around it to smoke them out of hiding. Baldwin I snuck out of the tower that night and fled back to Jerusalem to save his own ass, but the others all died fighting the Egyptians that had them surrounded. At least Stefan of Blois didn't run away this time, and, although he got killed, he finally got his street cred back.
Do remember to tell everyone back home how bravely I fought, okay?
Okay, sure, I guess. What'd you say your name is?
And lo, the Crusade of 1101 came to a sad end, with 3 Crusader armies completely wiped out, no help provided to the Latin states, and nothing gained. In fact, the Crusade of 1101 was such a giant stinking pile of shit that it effectively killed the whole crusading spirit in Europe for 4 decades.
There's whooped my ass. I quit.
And now that the dust has settled, let's take a look at the big board of death and get ESPN's Mel Kiper Jr.'s take on the debacle known as the Crusade of 1101. Death estimates are based on the historical fact that most people of that era were savage lunatics blinded by religious furor
that thoroughly enjoyed killing people just for fun. I don't know what they're thinking here. How can you have no plan going in and hang your hopes on a bunch of aging veterans? They traded away all their top picks and went all in on a win-now season. But this is the kind of head-scratching move that can haunt the franchise for years to come. Well now, that was pretty crazy, huh? Thousands of violent, brutal, religious fanatics wandering through the Anatolian desert to pillage and plunder and kill infidels in the name of Christianity on their way to visit the holy city of Jerusalem and have all their sins absolved for missing out on the First Crusade. But the Turks were not underestimating their foe this time and completely destroyed the whole fucking lot of them. And thousands of innocent people got killed too. It sucked for them. Anyhow, hope you enjoyed. Holy crap, it's the Crusades and the stupid story of the Crusade of 1101.